Hello, let's now talk about coordination, perception, reasoning, and mental calculation. The coordination of all muscle groups, particularly hand eye coordination, along with reaction time, are crucial skills in golf as well as in any other sport or essential activity. Their development and training are fundamental for improving performance and precision in executing specific movements, ensuring a more consistent and effective game in various on course situations. Hand eye coordination refers to the level of synchronization and precision between vision and hand movements or movements of other body parts. This skill is essential not only in golf. One of the keys to achieving an optimal ball flight is striking it at the center of the club face. This objective depends not only on technique, as many might assume, but also on the cognitive ability of the player to adjust their position and movement in relation to the ball under constantly changing conditions, such as slopes, grass types, or the ball's size. Even in less typical scenarios, such as when the ball is in motion, proper development of hand eye coordination, or in this specific case, eye to club face coordination, ensures control and precision in the impact under a wide range of circumstances, regardless of the stance or swing required. Reaction time, while not as critical in golf as it is in sports where rapid reactions are fundamental, is still an important aspect of the game. Reaction time refers to the ability to perceive a stimulus, such as the ball's movement, and respond quickly to it. For instance, a player who notices the ball moving just as they are about to execute a shot must be able to adjust their movement to avoid making an incorrect strike. Those with slower reaction times may struggle to adapt mid swing. This could lead to challenges such as inability to correct a backswing if it feels off, poor contact with the ball due to lack of adjustment, even penalties for failing to strike the ball if they cannot recover effectively. Improving reaction time through specific drills can help players develop the ability to respond more effectively in these situations, ensuring greater consistency and control during their performance. If we talk about coordination, we must discuss the creation of neural pathways that enable a wide range of movements. According to ecological theories applied to sports, this results in greater control over a player's movements and a significantly enhanced ability to adapt to the environment and the demands of each shot. Let's now turn to perception. Perception refers to the process by which we interpret and organize sensory information received through our senses to construct a meaningful representation of the world around us. It is an active and complex process that involves the selection, organization, and interpretation of sensory stimuli such as sounds, images, smells, tastes, and tactile sensations. Perception is not limited to the passive reception of sensory information. It also involves the integration of past experiences, prior knowledge, and expectations in interpreting incoming information. In other words, our perceptions are influenced by our cultural, emotional, social, and cognitive backgrounds, meaning that two people may perceive the same situation differently due to their distinct contexts and prior experiences. This perceptual process is fundamental to our understanding of the world and our ability to interact effectively with our environment. It allows us to recognize objects, interpret emotions, make decisions, and navigate the world safely and efficiently. Perception is, therefore, an essential aspect of human experience and a cornerstone of our cognitive, emotional, and social development. As one would expect, there are various types of perception. Let's look at a list that may not be exhaustive. Let's start by discussing estimation. Estimation refers to the cognitive ability to predict the future location of an object based on its current speed and distance. This skill allows us to anticipate the movement of objects and adjust our actions accordingly. For example, in golf, estimation is key when visualizing a putt to determine the appropriate amount of force to apply. This ability helps players anticipate the ball's trajectory, taking into account factors like speed, distance, and the slope of the green, ensuring a more accurate and effective shot. There is also spatial perception, which is the ability to understand and evaluate how objects are organized and related within three-dimensional space. It allows us to visualize the relative arrangement of objects in our environment and navigate effectively within it. Spatial perception is critical in activities like golf, where players must address complex visual challenges. For instance, they need to envision ball flights and trajectories fitting between elevated obstacles such as trees. This ability helps players plan shots strategically and adapt to the course layout, ensuring precision and accuracy in their play. Another distinct ability is visual perception. It refers to the ability to interpret visual information captured by the eyes. This includes processes such as identifying shapes, colors, depth, and motion. Visual perception allows us to understand and respond to the world around us through the visual information we receive, which is essential for determining the relevant variables of a shot. Visual scanning is the ability to quickly explore our visual environment to identify and process relevant information. This skill enables us to focus our attention on specific areas of interest while filtering out irrelevant information. For example, when preparing for a shot, we visually scan the area around the green, bunkers, water, plants, etc. The visual field refers to the entire area we can see when looking straight ahead without moving our eyes. It includes both peripheral and central vision and provides us with information about the surrounding environment. A wide visual field helps us detect objects and movements in our surroundings and maintain proper situational awareness. Auditory perception is the ability to perceive and differentiate sounds, including tone, volume, rhythm, and direction. It allows us to interpret and respond to auditory stimuli in our environment, such as speech, music, ambient sounds, and the compression of the ball at impact. This skill is essential for verbal communication, musical appreciation, auditory spatial orientation, and evaluating the quality of ball impact. In golf, auditory perception plays a critical role in understanding the sound feedback from a well executed shot, helping players refine their technique and consistency. Let's take a breath and turn to reasoning. Reasoning is a fundamental cognitive ability that involves the capacity to think logically, analytically, and deductively to reach conclusions or solve problems. It encompasses the ability to use available information, apply logical rules or principles, identify patterns and relationships, and arrive at inferences or conclusions based on evidence and logical reasoning. Reasoning can take various forms, including inductive reasoning, drawing general conclusions from specific observations. Deductive reasoning, applying general rules or principles to arrive at specific conclusions. Additionally, reasoning may involve systematic problem solving, critically evaluating arguments, and making informed decisions. This cognitive skill is essential for learning, solving problems during play, and developing critical thinking abilities. For instance, reasoning allows a golfer to analyze course conditions, predict outcomes, and make strategic decisions, such as choosing the safest approach or taking calculated risks. In relation to reasoning, we must delve deeper into several concepts already mentioned, as they will be critical for a golfer's development. These include pattern recognition, identifying trends in performance or environmental factors, risk assessment, balancing potential outcomes to make sound decisions, adaptability, applying logical principles to adjust strategies dynamically. These elements form the backbone of reasoning skills that can transform a golfer's decision making process, enhancing both performance and strategic depth. The first is cognitive flexibility. This skill refers to the brain's ability to adjust our behavior and thinking in response to new, changing, or unexpected situations. It involves the capacity to adapt quickly and effectively to different contexts, shifting mental strategies, and adopting alternative approaches when necessary. For example, a person with cognitive flexibility can easily switch between different tasks or solve problems using various approaches depending on the situation. A clear example is when we find our ball among trees and observe different windows through which the ball could be played. Perhaps aiming toward the green is not the best option. Cognitive flexibility opens our minds to seek options and reason through their potential outcomes to decide on the one we ultimately consider best for the specific situation. Secondly, we can talk about planning. This skill involves the ability to think ahead and mentally anticipate the sequence of steps needed to achieve a goal or carry out a task effectively. It includes the capacity to set goals, develop strategies, and organize actions sequentially to achieve a desired outcome. Planning is fundamental both in daily life and in golf, where it enhances efficiency and effectiveness in reaching objectives. For instance, proper course planning not only provides a clear vision of how to play a particular round and what to do in the case of errant shots or changes in weather conditions, but it also contributes to a sense of control and confidence while reducing fatigue during competition. Thirdly, we must consider an executive function related to the speed at which we reason: processing speed. This skill refers to the ability to process information quickly and efficiently. It involves the speed at which the brain can perform cognitive tasks, whether simple or complex, that have already been learned. A high processing speed enables a person to respond rapidly to external stimuli, make quick decisions, and execute actions smoothly. This skill is crucial in situations requiring rapid decision making or immediate responses, especially during problem solving in complex or unexpected scenarios, such as recovering from a major error off the tee, for example. As we know, a golfer has a limited amount of time to decide and execute a shot, which is equivalent to solving a problem for our mind. A player with higher processing speed can make much better use of their available time and reduce mental fatigue during competition. Finally, let's talk about mental calculation, the often overlooked skill since the advent of laser rangefinders for measuring distances and a significant source of errors during junior tournaments. Mental calculation, as we mentioned earlier, involves a set of skills that allow for performing mathematical operations in one's head without using paper, a pencil, or a calculator. This should not be confused with the ability to estimate distances from a perceptual standpoint. One of these skills is the ability to recall mathematical data, such as multiplication tables. This can be complemented by other intellectual abilities, such as rounding numbers and making approximate probabilistic calculations. There is no doubt that golf is a sport where precise and quick calculations of distances, success rates, and safety margins are essential for optimal performance. In amateur golf, various types of distance measuring devices are permitted, providing sufficient information for most players to enjoy the game with the right amount of patience. However, even an amateur golfer aiming to improve their experience should measure distances to multiple targets, such as the front of a bunker, the flag, and the back of the green, and calculate the margins available for safe play, even when using a laser rangefinder. In high performance contexts, such as junior tournaments, these measuring devices are typically not allowed. Even if they were permitted, they wouldn't provide the comprehensive data required for an optimal evaluation of potential options. For instance, determining carry distances to clear hazards, calculating rollout distances based on slope and surface conditions, evaluating probabilities and margins of error to select the safest and most effective shot. Developing strong mental calculation skills enables players to make these critical decisions quickly and accurately, giving them a significant competitive edge. In fact, junior tournaments where laser rangefinders are allowed can become a trap that stifles the future potential of many players, as they are not compelled to learn the skills they will need if they intend to pursue this sport professionally. Other necessary abilities include rounding numbers and making estimated calculations. Mental calculation enhances logical and spatial thinking from an early age, enabling golfers to better understand the rules of the game, spatial orientation, and the relationships between objects and strategies. When seeking success in golf, intuition is not the answer, especially when we have the mental capacity to accurately gather data, transform it, analyze it, and use it effectively based on a decision making system. This is the only objective path to excellence in any business, profession, or sport. When it comes to precision, there is a significant difference between guessing the available space and knowing it. This is why proper instruction should incorporate, from the very beginning, exercises both on paper and in context, like on the course during practice, to develop specific calculation skills that are practical and beneficial for golf players. See you on the next lesson. For more information, please visit www.cognitivegrowth.pro. You'll find information about our Level 1 certification process. Let's go.